I can still hear a little bit.
Is it bad? Here, I'll go tell him to keep it down.
All right, yeah, you're good. Sorry, I feel bad, but
Hey guys, could y'all can stay here, but could y'all keep it down a little bit?
Elijah's going boss man mode on him now. Alrighty.
All right, they said they're about to leave, so we're chilling.
All right, perfect. I'm just gonna send the link to one person real quick. All right. There we go. Let's go ahead and get right into her. Dude, it feels kind of weird. I don't know. It just feels like we're off like schedule right now.
I know.
I'm so like I got used to that pattern of Wednesdays and whatnot, but I don't know. We'll be back there. All right. So you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Going the Distance podcast. My name is Ryan Bennell, and alongside me is Elijah Spans. Later today in this episode, we will be joined by a guest by the name of Colin Gray. He's a fellow student and friend of ours at TCU. We study journalism, particularly sports journalism, so that's why we're on here. But yeah, before we get into today's episode, got to get through a quick few shout outs. Go ahead and check out. You're already watching our Twitch, YouTube if you're here live, but if not, make sure you listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Every episode will be posted there. You can check out all of our content over at www.gtdsports.com. We have blogs, podcasts, all that good stuff. And if you want to keep up with our gambling picks, I'm starting to make a little bit of a comeback myself. So go ahead and follow me over at the Action Network. You can search me by full name. I'm not sure if Elijah's coming back or not yet.
I'm still retired right now. I'll be back in the fall. I'll be back for football season.
That's a good time to start. And last but not least, subscribe to the GTD Sports newsletter at the bottom of our website page. You can find that for email notifications on every episode and whatnot. So how are we feeling this week, Elijah?
I'm feeling pretty good. I just finished my last ever real finals week as a college student, so that's a little weird.
That is weird. Yeah, I've seen like a bunch of TikToks and stuff of like me Wednesday afternoon on my laptop finishing my undergrad degree. Like, that's just weird, man.
That would be me if COVID just didn't slow me down. I'd have dropped 4 classes this past year. But I'll finish in the summer, and then that's pretty much it. But still good. Finished school this week. Went golfing today. Had a little bit too much fun earlier today. But, yeah. But I'm here right now. I'm ready to talk about some sports.
Oh yeah, forgot to mention this today. I know we usually record our live episodes on Wednesday, and we post them on Thursday morning for Spotify and whatnot. But as Elijah mentioned, we have been taking finals this week. They've been kicking our asses, kind of. So we really had to grind these last couple days. Hence the rescheduling. So I just finished most of my stuff. I have one more final tomorrow morning, and then I am done with my junior year. So that's good stuff. But I picked a really bad time because, it's finals week. I made the bad decision to download MLB The Show 21, which is probably my favorite fucking game I've played in a long-ass time, dude. It's so much fun.
So it just came to Xbox, and this is the first time that I've played it since I've had a PS3. So this is the first time I played The Show since The Show 13. And,
dude, yeah, my last baseball video game I played was 2K11 when I was 10 years old.
Oh, really? Yeah, I grinded the 2Ks. Those were on Xbox.
Was the GOAT, dude.
Those were awesome. They got hated on, and I guess for good reason because they're not around anymore. But
yeah, they kind of grew. They kind of just progressively got worse and worse.
They weren't as good as The Show, which is one of the reasons why they got shut down. And then they lost their license, and then I don't know. Anyway, we got screwed out of it, basically.
Yeah. Wait, so do you have it right now, The Show?
Yeah, because
21?
The Show 21's on. This is the first one to get on Xbox, and then as a part of their deal putting it on Xbox, they put it on Xbox Game Pass on the first day, And so I've got it, and I've been playing it since day one, and it's pretty fun.
Dude, wait, I texted you about it, and like I thought you said like you were gonna get it. I didn't
No,
realize you already had it.
Yeah, I already have it. That's
Oh,
what I
well,
meant by it.
fucking let's run some shit after this, bro. I'll
Yeah.
beat your ass.
Probably, I'm not very good.
No, me neither. Trust me, it's so hard. It's so
First
hard.
time, yeah, I know it's such a hard. But it's good. It's good to play like a baseball game that's actually true to form. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
because
like
whenever you get that perfect hit, perfect swing, like out of the park, it's like the most rewarding, best feeling ever.
no, and like I have a my player, and I have it even on like one of the lower difficulties, and he's only batting like a 330 right now, which like for a video game is like really good to see because it's still like video game numbers, but not like stupid.
Yeah,
Not
that would be like a really good batting average, you know, like
Yeah.
not like unheard of, like
Yeah.
2K, the basketball game stats are.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
you know,
not like
some
you-
dudes average 50 points a game.
Yeah, it's not like my player where you're just out there balling out 40 and like it's not like you're balling out a triple double every day.
Yeah.
You know, so it's fun.
The only game mode I've played so far is Diamond Dynasty. I've just been grinding, building my team.
I've just been mainly Road to the Show.
I want to try the other game modes too. They look pretty good. But enough about baseball video games. We'll talk a little bit more about baseball later on in the episode. Today's main theme is going to be football, and more football because the NFL draft just took place. And as we predicted last week, one of the most crazy, fun, I don't even know how many words to use to describe it, but it was awesome. It was a great draft. It definitely lived up to all the hype. But before we get into that, Aaron Rodgers wants out of Green Bay. Let's discuss.
Yeah, I guess he was really pissed off about that Jordan Love pick. But
Yeah.
I guess this has been growing. We've seen him get a little peeved off with the Packers in the past. I think they fired his quarterbacks coach without consulting him in the past, and he remember he aired that frustration with ESPN.
He had been vocal too, even with the Jordan Love situation. He was like clearly uncomfortable and whatnot. You know,
even before that, there was signs that he was a little miffed. You know, so like this has been brewing, and I guess them drafting Jordan Love was like the final straw, and then he just went into the season just taking it. But like after the offseason, he's like, I'm done.
Yeah, exactly. Like I thought everything was gonna go down last offseason after the Jordan Love pick. I thought if anything was gonna happen, it was gonna be then. But I don't know. I thought after he played the whole season, I didn't really think there was any more tension after that. And even like a week before he came out with this statement, I forgot who it was. It may have been Matt LaFleur, but who said that Aaron Rodgers is our quarterback for the foreseeable future. Like it was like 2 weeks beforehand.
Multiple people in the Packers organization said that, and even with all the trade talks going on as soon as the season ended, like every single one, even Aaron Rodgers, like all played that down. But I guess it was real. I guess he's like really pissed off. Even then, like there's a situation, I can't remember who the receiver was, but like the Packers cut a receiver right after Aaron Rodgers talked that guy up and like said about how much he was looking forward to working with him, and the next day they cut him. And so he said that was like a death nail, or like, you know, basically like a coffin in his relationship with the Packers. So like it's kind of been coming, you know.
It's just been slowly building up. Yeah.
Yeah. If you've really paid attention, you could kind of see like why he would be pissed off. And like
what I'm wondering though is like the main reason he's upset, like everything's gone wrong, is mostly because of the lack of communication from the organization to him, which other NFL organizations have done phenomenal jobs of. Like, for example, even in this draft, Andy Dalton got called before they even selected Justin Fields, the Bears. And same thing with Jimmy Garoppolo. They called him before they took Trey Lance just to let him know what's up, you know, like. So what I wonder is if Aaron Rodgers was also communicating his end of the stick, if that makes sense. Like, was he telling the Packers that he was this frustrated, like to the point where he might leave? That's what I want to know.
I feel like he's held it in. I
think so too.
You know, I feel like he's done it subtly, pretty much like how we've known, like if you've paid attention throughout the years that he's subtly been frustrated, it's been the same way through, his communication with the Packers, that he's subtly frustrated with them. And I don't know. It's crazy to see that we've gotten to this point, but we've gotten to this point, and like he's pretty done. But I still feel like he'll be in a Packers uniform next year.
Yeah, exactly. He's one of those players where like I just can't imagine seeing him actually playing in another uniform. Even Peyton Manning, whenever he left the Colts for the Broncos, that was one of the weirdest things I'd ever seen. Just Manning in the navy and orange, like that was just odd to me. But I mean, it seemed to work out. They won a Super Bowl, so
yeah.
I mean, where do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to go, though?
Well, I mean, if you mention the the Broncos, that's one of the places that he's pointed at. Is he'd like to go to the Broncos. I think one of the initial reports is like a couple of the West Coast teams like the Rams and the 49ers, but obviously by now that's not a realistic situation.
Yeah.
So if he's going to get traded, it's probably going to be the Broncos, but I think he's going to stay a Packer.
I don't know, dude. I really don't. I think if the Broncos were gonna, like, if they weren't gonna go after Rodgers, they would have taken Justin Fields at number 9. But I think that by taking Patrick Surtain, which is an interesting pick, I want to get into a little bit later too. They kind of set the precedent that they're gonna go after a quarterback in the free agency market and whatnot, or trade market. So I mean, if they can pull off Rodgers, the Broncos may become like the retirement center for legendary quarterbacks, just go chill with John Elway in the Mile High City.
Your audio cut out.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Test. Colin, can you hear me? I think it may be headset wise. All right. Well, yeah. Anyway, back on the Aaron Rodgers situation. Like, I don't know. I thought he would stay after last season. You can't hear me at all?
No.
Ah, shit. All right. Well, we're having some technical difficulties, folks. We will be back momentarily. Well, I guess he can't fucking hear me. I was about to ask, did your headset die?
Yeah, I'm going to leave and come back.
Okay. All right, well, I guess I can bullshit about stuff for a second. We are about, like I said earlier, though, this today's episode is just not our normal format, or not what we're normally used to. We usually do Wednesdays at 8 p.m., which if you've been watching, you're probably used to that by now too. But like I said earlier, finals week has just been no bueno, no fun. And now we're here. So I don't know what exactly is going on with Elijah's computer, but there's been a few technical difficulties in the past before, so I guess we will just have to see where that goes. Yeah. All right, we're going to make a quick substitution real quick since Elijah is not ready. We're going to go ahead and hop right into the NFL draft talk with Colin. And yeah, we will be back in just a few seconds.
Popping, actually. Yeah. What's up, Brian? How are you?
What is up? I'm good, man. How are you? Sorry about this little, technical difficulty, whatever is going on. This wasn't exactly how it was planned to go down, but how are we doing, my man?
Doing pretty good. I just finished my last final, I think Thursday, so I'm officially done. Like Elijah, I'm done.
Yeah, you're done with college. Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a weird feeling.
It doesn't feel right.
Well, I mean, especially because like did you finish like your last test online?
Yeah. So it felt kind of odd. I'm not gonna lie. I felt kind of like I got gypped.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like the last year or two of college has just been kind of gypped from us. So
yeah, the Rona really helped with that. But enough about our misfortunes.
Yeah, no, exactly. Rona definitely fucked everything up. But yeah, let's get into the NFL draft. Let's talk a little bit
before we go into that, I want to talk about. I don't think what's his name Rodgers is going to stick, because I saw an interesting stat, because out of all the 3 major quarterbacks that Green Bay has, like Bart Starr, Brett Favre, and Aaron Rodgers, wonder how many seasons each of them has played?
Like 10?
They've each played 16 years. That's it. They've never played past year 17.
Damn, I was way under. I knew it was like at least a decade, but shit.
Yeah, so like Bart Starr, 16 years. Brett Favre, 16 years. Aaron Rodgers, he just finished year 16, so I don't think he's gonna break the streak. So
That is weird. Yeah, I wonder how do they find those stats, bro? Like they're so specific and shit. Like it makes it interesting though to talk about.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't know how they come up with those. And I mean, I forgot. Yeah, no, it was Brett Favre. It was Brett Favre who said this. I knew it was one of the legendary Packers quarterbacks, but he kind of came out and like said, like, look, I understand why Aaron is frustrated. Like basically saying that the Packers organization has been doing this kind of shit for a while. So
yeah, and then like way I heard on sports shows and like Max Kellerman and all that, but I don't really. I take whenever he talks, I take with a grain of salt because he said Brady's been done for the past decade. So, but the thing is with him, like the way I've heard, like they don't treat Aaron Rodgers like the cornerstone quarterback. They treat him like X. Like they treat Mahomes like he's a god. Brady like he's a god. Whatever those quarterbacks want, they get. With Rodgers, it seems like they're like, he's an afterthought. Well, he's basically the cornerstone frat. He's like the cornerstone quarterback. I'm just a
no,
I'm just,
I that's actually a really good point. I totally agree with that. Like you're right. They do treat Mahomes. I mean, granted, they should treat Mahomes like a god because he is a fucking god amongst men. But yeah, you're right. They really do just have been, or at least this past season or so, have been treating Aaron Rodgers like an X in the X and O scheme like that. But my question is, I mean, he's been doing Jeopardy lately. Have you seen that? He's been hosting the Jeopardy show.
yeah. I think. Well, he was a big fan of Alex Trebek too. I think that was like one of his like dreams. He said that.
Yeah, he said he's always wanted to do that, like host it. So it's kind of cool to see him do it. I mean, I've watched an episode with him hosting. I think he does a great job. But what I'm wondering though is, what if? Could you imagine he stops playing football to just host Jeopardy?
I can see it. And I think there was another quarterback that retired early, just in his prime. He's like, just like Barry Sanders, like how he retired at like 30. He's like, I'm done. And Calvin Johnson, he's like, I don't want to do any more of this. I'm done.
Yeah,
Like,
Calvin Johnson's retirement is always just weird to me because it was like he started playing basically right when I got into football. So it was like for me, he had just always been there and then he was just gone. So yeah, that was a little bit weird to retire after 8 seasons. It was, right? I think he played from
8 or 9, one of
2017 to
those.
15. Yeah, one of those. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the NFL draft. Like I said earlier, one of the craziest drafts we've had in a long time. I was absolutely glued to my television set watching the entire first round. But Colin, my question for you is, we all know pick number 1 was a lock. Trevor Lawrence, that was a guarantee. Pick number 2 after the combine and everything, everybody was assuming it was going to be Zach Wilson. That was kind of
He's
a
a
lock.
bust.
I agree, actually. I
mean,
do too.
I don't see it. I don't mean like he literally.
No, let's talk about that, actually. Zach Wilson is a bust. I agree. I don't think he's worthy of the number 2 pick.
I would have took Justin Fields with that.
I think Justin Fields is being incredibly underrated. I don't know what happened, but like ever since the combine and stuff, his draft stock had just been slowly seeping down and down and down. I have no idea what it was. There were character questions, I know, but Justin Fields is talented as shit.
Yeah, the thing is, like, what was like no offense to BYU, but who do they play?
Exactly. Yeah, they don't have a conference to play in. I know they played, who was it? Coastal Carolina, who was I mean, they're not a Power 5 school, but they had a decent program. Yeah, they were good. But yeah, I don't know. It's the same thing. You could say the same thing, I guess, with North Dakota State. They produced Carson Wentz and now Trey Lance. Is that going to translate?
Yeah, but Trey Lance only had one good year, and that was like an iffy one.
Exactly. That was my next question I wanted to lead into, was about whether or not the 49ers got it right with Trey Lance. But before we do that, Elijah appears to be back, so we're going to bring him back real quick. So just a sec. All right, Elijah, we working now?
Yeah, we're working.
All right. A little bit of difficulties.
Son of a bitch.
It is what it is. But you missed it a little bit. We were talking a little bit more on the Aaron Rodgers conversation, and then we got into the draft recap where Colin made the bold prediction that Zach Wilson is going to be a bust. And I actually agree with him. I don't really think Zach Wilson is top tier quarterback. So I want to get your opinion on that.
I could probably get down on the Zach Wilson as a bus train just because of the fact that the Jets picked him, and the Jets are an organization that they always have their woes. You know, he's an athletic freak. He can make throws that no other quarterback in this draft could make, including Trevor Lawrence. But outside of that, he can make those out of your mind throws. He makes those, Patrick Mahomes style throws. I mean, you saw his pro day where he's rolling to the left and he
with no defenders. Yeah.
I mean, but still,
it's still impressive. You're right.
The fact that his arm could do that is something that
it is crazy.
That is NFL worthy, and it is worthy of a second pick in the draft. But I don't know. It's tough. We'll see. Zach Wilson could be one of those guys where he could be like one of the biggest busts ever, and you look at him and you say, what the fuck was the league thinking by thinking that he was like worth a second pick? And then he could be one of those guys where the Jets lucked out and he was the savior of their franchise. He could literally go both ways.
I'm sure that's what New York fans are hoping for.
The Jets have not had a good quarterback since Broadway Joe.
Honestly, yeah, I don't remember the Jets ever having a good quarterback since I've been alive. Like, what is it? I remember Geno Smith at one point was supposed to be their savior, dude. Like, come on. Like, seriously, Sam Darnold was their best bet that I know of since I've been alive.
Well, they had Brett Favre for a year.
Okay,
he was spaced out of his mind. He had no clue what year he was in.
That's true too.
Yeah, they just really haven't had anybody. So I guess, I mean, you could say Mark Sanchez, what a legend he is.
The Sanchez was there for a couple of years. I mean, they did go to back-to-back AFC championships, but
a butt fumble.
Yeah, well, then it led to that. But I don't know. I think we're gonna see, for the first time ever, when watching the Jets, is we're gonna see some entertainment with Zach Wilson.
He's gonna be a good division.
It's definitely gonna be more entertaining than watching Sam Darnold. I would agree with that. Sam Darnold's not really the flashiest guy.
I think he's going to be good TV. I will say that. I think Zach Wilson will be good TV, and he's going to put on a show.
Well, that's good to hear. I mean, I would love to watch that. I just don't really know if I think the Jets can do more than my prediction for the Jets is like 4 wins, probably. 4 wins would be an improvement for them. So
I could see them getting to 6. I could see
that'd be big. 6. That'd be big for them after 1 year of 1-15. But my next question, though, is whether or not the 49ers got it right. I know you, Elijah, had Trey Lance going number 3 in your mock draft, so you called it. But do you think they made the right decision?
Well, I didn't call it. I actually put Mac Jones in my mock draft, but that's just because that was the buzz around it. But
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was Trey Lance.
Well, because when the 49ers first made this trade, there was a voice in my head that just said they're going to pick Trey Lance with this pick. And that's because they already have Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance needs time to develop. So I think that Trey Lance is going to sit there with a clipboard for an entire year this year.
And you should get that checked out if you hear voices in your head.
I probably should, but it's worked out for me so far. But anyway, if Trey Lance has a clipboard in his hand for a full year and gives himself time to develop, much like with the Chiefs did with Patrick Mahomes, then I think it could be something that could work out really well because he needs time to acclimate to the NFL game. And if he has time to sit and learn and really study the NFL game, then I think he could be scary, especially with a head coach like Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, that kind of relates to what me and Colin were just talking about before you joined back on. Is like he played at a small school. He played one really good season, so he's kind of an unproven talent. So
he didn't throw an interception in that season too.
That is true. Yeah, but who is he facing?
Nobody.
Yeah, South Dakota State and North Dakota. I don't know.
And I will say that I watched a little bit of the FCS playoffs earlier this week, and it was so hard to watch.
Really?
It was so hard to watch. It was worse than Maction.
Dude, but Maction's fun.
Yeah, but it's fun because it's shitty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is even it was even shittier than Maction. Who did he play? But I mean, Carson Wentz also came from that, level of football, and
look how he turned out now.
Well, he was a very good quarterback for a period of time.
I think the Eagles ruined him, though. I think that was the Eagles' fault.
Well, he got hurt too.
Yeah, like bad too.
And before he got hurt, he was the MVP elect.
That is true. He was up for the MVP. You're right. It's just been quite the downfall for Wincy boy.
Yeah.
But what I want to get into now on the draft is overall, who do you think the biggest winner and the biggest loser is from this draft? Let's start with Colin. Colin, who do you think overall had like the best draft?
I mean, I could go with the Jaguars because they probably got the best they got the best player in the draft, in my opinion.
They did, yeah.
Taking that out of the factor, I would say probably. I mean, I would have to say the Lions.
I actually like their draft a lot.
I mean,
because a lot of people had Penei Sewell going before 7, so I think they got a good pick with him at number 7, at least for the first round.
Yeah, I mean, and the Bengals, I know they're your team, Ryan, but I mean, they really screwed the pooch on that one. I mean, I know they want to help out Joey B, but I mean, you pick a receiver over a stud of a lineman whenever Joey was running for his life the entire season.
Oh yeah, no, trust me, they're my biggest loser for the draft. Even though they're my team, they are my biggest loser.
I mean, I actually could say the Cowboys because they actually didn't. They actually picked something right this time. They picked a good defensive player, which I thought they were going to pick another wideout or a running back. I really did. I don't trust Jerry. He gets too excited.
I've actually heard a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Negative, I guess, just negative feedback from Cowboys fans on the Parsons pick.
They don't know what they're talking about half the time. Like they want champions now, but they're in a 9-7 division.
Yeah, at best. Well, I mean, Elijah's a Cowboy fan. What's your take
Elijah,
on that?
no offense, but I mean, you guys have such high expectations.
Well, we're in the Super Bowl next year, so it doesn't.
Oh matter. Yeah, of course we win. Yeah, of course. Every single year you're winning the Super Bowl next year.
Well, we are. So that's besides the point. I really liked what we did with the Parsons pick. I think that was really smart to after the best 2 quarterbacks at 8 and 9 got picked before us to trade back and then go ahead and ultimately draft Parsons, which is something I'm really excited about because LVE always gets hurt. And then unfortunately, Jalen Smith hasn't lived up to his fullest potential. So he isn't what he's supposed to be either. So Parsons will help complete that linebacker core and maybe help stop the run, maybe help be because he's an athletic freak. He can help out our defense. And then, a couple other picks in our draft I'm a fan of going really heavy defense in the first 4 rounds. So
yeah, defense was definitely the move for the Cowboys. I think, well, I guess they couldn't really do it, but they made the best move by trading down from number 10 after Surtain got taken, because I think they should have definitely gone with a cornerback, but both the best options were off the board.
I will say something about that trade down though, is the fact that the Cowboys traded with the Eagles for the Eagles to jump the Lions, is that the Cowboys are more afraid of the Giants than they are of the Eagles in this division. And I would be too, though. That really tells me that the Giants are knocking on the door of being a really competitive team, because think about it too, is that the Eagles traded up to draft a receiver, Devontae Smith, and then the Giants ultimately traded down to draft a receiver also, Kadarius Toney. But when you think about it, who would you, if you're the Cowboys and you're in that front office, who would you be more scared of? A Giants team with Devontae Smith, who they would have picked if the Cowboys didn't trade down, or a Cowboys team with Kadarius Toney?
I think Kadarius Toney fits in really well with the Giants scheme. I haven't placed it yet, but I'm planning on placing a future bet for the Giants to win the division next season. I think it's going to happen.
They really could. I mean, I'm scared of them, but
it's between the Cowboys and the Giants. Well, actually, I don't know, dude. The Redskins have a good defense. That division's really up in the air.
The football team.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, not the Redskins. Dude, it's just habit, bro. Not the Redskins. I'm not racist, I swear. Not Redskins.
Fitzmagic is going to be Fitzmagic until he's fixed tragic, unfortunately.
That's every 4 weeks. That's about 4 weeks. Give it about 4 to 6 weeks, and then you're done.
But the Giants are definitely going to be a team to look out for this year. I think that they've made a lot of good moves this offseason by adding free agents on both the offensive and defensive side. They signed Kenny Galladay. They've signed a couple of really good defensive backs. They signed that defensive back from Tennessee, Adoree Jackson. They signed Adoree Jackson.
That was a good pickup, yeah.
And they had a really good draft. And also they added a first-round pick in next year's draft. So I think if Danny Dimes pans out, which I think he's going to have a really good year this year, the Giants are really going to be a team to look out for.
If he's gonna do good, this is the year to do good. Because also, like you said, they had a good draft all around. They picked up Azeez Ojulari, the linebacker / edge rusher from Georgia, at pick number 50 in the second round. Like, they were considering taking him in the first, and they managed to get him in the second. So I think that's a big win for the Giants. But my personal favorite, we have a couple comments here that are agreeing with it. The Bears had the best draft, I think, all around, like by far. They made phenomenal move to trade up and take Justin Fields. I think that was the right move for their franchise. And then the second round. This is thanks to the Bengals, by the way. Second round, they traded up 4 picks and lost basically nothing to draft Tevin Jenkins, the lineman from Oklahoma State, who a lot of people had in the 20s, like in their mock drafts in the first round. So I think they had a really good draft. They did what they needed to do. But I feel bad for my boy Andy Dalton. He's my favorite player, and I don't want to see him on the bench.
Well, I think he's probably going to play about 6 games realistically before Justin Fields takes over, because he is going to start week 1. I don't think that's going to be any sort of debate whatsoever. But as soon as he gets hurt, which will probably be early on in the season, he's going to take over. Probably much alike to Justin Herbert this season.
Yeah, I mean, on one end I'm sad for Andy, but on the other I'm happy. Like, he played his career. Now he's the highest paid backup in the NFL. Like, I'd be chilling with that, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, though, I think the biggest loser for the draft is, I guess, here, I'll turn, you can see my Bengals flag up here. Depressing, very depressing watching that draft.
I would say possibly the Raiders too. I mean, they picked what's his name?
Alex Leatherwood.
Alex Leatherwood, and he was he's like a second. They could have got him in the second round.
Yeah, there was a 70% chance that he would be available at their pick number 46 in the second round, but they made up for it because they got Trevon Moehrig.
Yeah, and honestly, too, Mel Kiper said this in one of his draft recaps. If they would have just swapped those first 2 picks, if they took Moehrig in the first and Leatherwood in the second, then they would have gotten a better grade. So it's literally no harm, no foul, basically.
Yeah, they ended up, I think, with still both the players they would have gotten originally, but I don't know what the fuck they were thinking taking Leatherwood at number 17. That really didn't make sense.
The Raiders do Raiders things with their draft.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't want to move on from the Bengals quite yet. I really just want to set it in how terrible of a move that was. Actually, okay, I shouldn't say terrible. It's never a bad idea to take a generational talent like Jamar Chase. That's not a bad idea. But Joe Burrow is going to get his ass ate by these defensive linemen, dude. Like, our offensive line is not cutting it. And I've seen tweets, Bleacher Report hyping up the Bengals receivers like, oh, do they have the best wide receiver trio in the NFL? It doesn't matter. Joe Burrow's going to have 2 seconds to throw the ball. It doesn't matter, dude.
Is he going to start the season?
Burrow, there's a chance, but he may sit out the first week or 2. Honestly,
I think you should sit out the first half, if not the entire year.
Okay, let's calm down. I think you should sit out a couple games just to play it safe. And then he's going to come in and lead us to the playoffs, baby. Somehow.
Stay off the weed.
Hey, I mean, if Joe Burrow could lead us to the playoffs, shit, dude, I would do a lot more than weed for that. But, yeah, and then their next dumbass move was they took a kicker in the 5th round. Who takes a kicker in the 5th round? Like, I just don't get it. He wasn't even, like, an amazing kicker. He went 17 for 22 last season. So I don't know. It was frustrating. So that was fun. Colin, how do you feel about the Bills draft? You're a big Bills fan.
Yeah. I mean, the first guy I think Gregory Rousseau. I think he's like his brother was born in Buffalo. So, I mean, so he has a connection. So I mean, I'm kind of happy he's from the U. So I mean, the U always they produce the good players, but I mean, I trust the process. Billy Bean knows what he's doing. Brandon Bean, big baller Bean. He knows what he's up to. I mean, and I think the Bills are going to win the AFC East. They're the only competition to the Chiefs, and the Bills are definitely bolstering up their defense, which they have to because I mean it was painful watching them play defense. It was like I could tell you what was going to happen before the snap. So I mean,
it's kind of weird. The Bills went from being like a defensive first team to like one of the most electric offenses in the NFL over the course of the last 5 seasons or so.
Ryan Duvall, baby, and Josh Allen. The man knows what he's doing.
Josh Allen is fun to watch, bro. He's so fun to watch. But yeah, I think
scary,
Rousseau is a great pick for them in the first round because like Jerry Hughes, you know, big TCU guy, woot woot. He's getting old though.
He's only probably got I think maybe 2 more years, 2 good years.
Yeah, I think so too. So I think it was a good pick, good time to replace him.
But also there's a quote from like their old GM said, the first 3 rounds those are picks that anybody can pick. That's like, but rounds 4 through 7, that's how, if you pick those well enough, that's how you win the Super Bowl. And I think that will determine. I don't know who had the best for the later rounds, but
well, nobody will know until 4 years after it happens. So
yeah.
Doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Or, I mean, in the Cowboys case, Dak Prescott was a pretty instant turnaround from a 4th round pick. So
it's true.
The third sniper, no, they should not.
You said what?
Somebody commented that should teams draft punters at all? And the answer is no.
No, just flat out no.
Who asked that? No, teams should never draft punters. But Presley Harvin is the GOAT. I will say that, though.
Oh, yes.
The Georgia Tech punter, big old boy. He's so fun, dude. I can't wait to see him in the league. I remember, who was it? Marquette King for the Raiders. He was like really, I don't know why, but he was like the only entertaining punter in the NFL. Like he had a celebration or something after almost every kick that was really fun to watch.
He brought swag to the position. He was like pretty much like Pat McAfee. You know, that's like him. Marquette King and Pat McAfee are the only 2 punters ever to bring swag to the position. So.
Yeah, it seems like everybody else is there just like has no emotions, no personality. They literally just sit there and fucking punt the ball.
Which I'm totally fine with, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, that's their job, you know, like that's what they go in there and get paid millions. Dude, God, being a punter would be sick, bro. Imagine that.
Big abs like that, to do that, my God, I would kill to have that job.
Exactly. God, dude, you never have to get hurt, like nothing.
Occasionally you get laid out, but I mean.
So it's a flag. Since the draft has finally happened and we'll finally get to see all these newly drafted former college players finally play in the NFL, who's going to be your pick to be the rookie of the year, the offensive rookie of the year, and then defensive rookie of the year? Let's start with offensive.
I'll go ahead and go first. My offensive rookie of the year, it's definitely going to be the favorite pick. Probably most everybody is picking this too, but Trevor Lawrence, just because I think good system for him to go to with Urban Meyer. I think he'll succeed. He's
the obvious pick. I'd probably go, if I'm going to pick like my actual pick, it'd probably be T-Law too. I mean, he's going to start week 1, no doubt, and I think he's going to put up the best numbers, especially him up there with Etienne, and Etienne's going to be put in like a running back / wide receiver role that Urban Meyer loves. And so that's going to help T-Law out a lot. And I think he's going to put up a lot of really good numbers. He's only going to win 6 games, but most likely he's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Colin, what do you think?
If Trevor Lawrence doesn't win Rookie of the Year, I swear to God, I'm going to shave my head.
All right. Y'all heard it. We heard it right now. We got it on tape. We got it recorded. Trevor Lawrence doesn't win.
I mean, he's going to suck. The Jaguars, they're going to suck. I mean, let's be honest. I know if there's any Jags fans, I apologize, but they're not. No, it's like 5-12, if that.
That would be a big improvement. I mean, shit, going from 1-15 to 5-12, that's huge.
Well, that's like saying 1 + 1 is 2. Then, like, I don't know.
I get what you're saying. I would that the Jags won't be that good. But what are you about to say? Go ahead.
I would say probably but my second, I would have to. I probably would have to go Jalen Waddle. to be just the second one because I mean I got a soft spot for Jalen Waddle. Don't know why. I just like the guy, but I probably defensive would have to be, as much as I hate to say it as a true Bills fan, Micah Parsons for the Cowboys. It pains me to say that, but that's like the best. I mean, Jerry he actually did it right. Proud of him.
I have to agree with you. I think that I think Parsons is going to be our defensive rookie of the year this year as well.
And I'm proud of Jerry.
I'm going to switch it up. I'm not taking Parsons for defensive rookie of the year. My prediction is Patrick Surtain for the Broncos, who a lot of Cowboys fans thought that's who they were going to end up with. I thought it was one of the biggest locks of the draft that the Cowboys were going to end up with Surtain, but Broncos did it. And I mean, Broncos have traditionally had great cornerbacks in the past. So I think it's a system that he fits in well. And the only thing is Patrick Surtain is probably going to be covering the number one wide receivers already.
See, I'm going to disagree with you right there because quarterbacks really have a hard year in their rookie years being in the NFL. They usually take a full year before they get to where they're supposed to be.
Who was it? Marshawn Lattimore for the Saints?
Yeah. He was like the last one to have a really good rookie year. I mean, usually cornerbacks, they take about a year before they get to
wait, is Surtain's from Bama, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All like the number one receivers are from Bama. So it's gonna be like practice for him. So I mean,
yeah, right. He's been covering all these first round receivers, so
for the past probably 3 years. So I think
that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, he's been covering all these Bama. Dude, Bama's receiving core is just it's not even fair, dude. I saw a stat. It was Alabama. Their 2017 recruiting class, just in that recruiting class, produced 8 first-round draft picks. So compare that to, let's say, Cincinnati and UCF, right? Those are not Power 5 programs, but they're two of the best Group of 5 programs. Those two schools together, all time, ever in the history of the school, have produced 6 first-round draft picks. Nick Saban has 8 in one recruiting class. That's insane, dude. I don't know if we're ever going to see anything like this again, but
we probably will, because Saban's just going to keep on doing what he's been doing in the past 5 years, and that's just accumulate the best talent on earth.
Well, that's true. I mean, like past Saban and Bama. Like once this era is over, however long it's going to last,
it's going to be Dabo right after Saban.
I don't think it's Dabo.
I don't know.
I think it's going to be Ryan Day.
Really? At Ohio State? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I think Day's a great coach. He had a lot of expectations coming into Ohio State, and he lived up to every single one of them. Like he has done a phenomenal job, but I think it's just hard to say that he can be that dominant whenever they've had 5-star recruits every single year. But like Bama, Nick Saban has lost like something like 28 games in his career, or 23 games in his career.
He eats cereal and pisses excellence.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Ricky Bobby said it best. I mean, he wakes up, pisses excellence, dude. Nick Saban just is a winner. But wait, what was the stat? He has like 23 losses. 6 of his losses with Alabama came in his first season. So like, you know, he kind of built him up a little bit. You know, and Ryan Day's been getting all these top recruits forever.
Ryan Day will definitely bring a natty to Ohio State though 1 year.
1 year, yeah.
There's no doubt about that. But I think the future of college football definitely lies with Clemson as soon as Saban retires.
Well, I mean, Clemson, they're already there, dude. Like,
I mean, yeah, they're already there, but who's their biggest stopgap?
You're right. Yeah, Alabama's always going to be the GOAT of college football, so that would be tough to pick. Yeah, but back to the rookie of the year stuff. Like you said, you would take Lawrence realistically, but your dark horse would be who was it?
Jalen Waddle would be my dark horse.
Okay.
I think the Dolphins are going to take off this year. They've been tracking up ever since Brian Flores took over as coach, and I think this is the year that they really take off. Hopefully, and this is all dependent on Tua having a really good year, and that's why they took Waddle ultimately. And I think that Waddle is going to take Tua to that next step, and then if they do, Waddle's going to have a Justin Jefferson type year, and there's no quarterback that'll put up. If there's no quarterback to put up, Justin Herbert numbers, then Waddle will be the rookie of the year.
I could see that happening too. I for my dark horse, I went with Najee Harris actually because a little bit. It's definitely a dark horse pick because the Steelers' offensive line has just gotten significantly worse ever since Le'Veon Bell was the top back in the league. But I think Najee Harris was a great draft pick for them. They definitely need a running back after losing James Conner to the Cardinals. But yeah, I mean, we'll see if he can actually produce at the NFL level. I think he's definitely built for it. Like, look at Derrick Henry and what he's doing right now.
No, he's gonna be great in the NFL.
Yeah, Alabama. It's hard to. I was gonna say Alabama's RBU, but
They're
Alabama's
wide receiver,
They're everything. Dude. They literally just produce everything.
And if
Doesn't
Mac
even make
Jones
sense.
pans out and Tua pans out, then they're gonna be QBU.
Yeah, well, speaking of Mac Jones, that's one of my bold predictions for this draft class is I think out of all 5 of the quarterbacks taken, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Trevor Lawrence, I think Mac Jones will have the greatest NFL career, the best legacy when it's all said and done and he retires. Solely based off the fact that he got drafted by the Patriots.
Yeah.
Got a
That
lot
is
to live
really
up
the
to.
only reason.
Well, with
What,
that
Colin?
being said, though, the first
Got a lot to
quarterback,
live up to.
the first quarterback that's going to win a Super Bowl ring out of this draft is going to be Kyle Trask,
Wait, where did he go again?
the Bucks.
Tampa.
Dude, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. But yeah, that I actually love that pick. I loved watching Kyle Trask in college. He was a lot of fun at Florida. There was definitely a lot of concerns though, because whenever Kyle Pitts and like his other weapons weren't healthy, Kadarius Toney, he didn't really play that well. So I don't know. I liked watching him in college. So I think that's a good pickup for the Bucks. Like develop under Tom Brady. What a gig though, dude. Like, God, I just think about that. Like, what a job. You're a backup in the NFL, getting paid millions of dollars. You never have to actually do anything. There's no pressure on you. And you're learning under the greatest quarterback to ever live. Like, God, that's the dream job, dude. That would be the dream job.
Pretty much. The Alex Moran vibes for sure.
Yeah. But there were also a few steals in this draft that I wanted to talk about. Like, for example, the Chargers had Rashawn Slater at number 13, which Slater, a lot of people projected him to go anywhere within the top 10 even. Some people had the Bengals taking Slater over Sewell, which I thought was just, I don't know. I thought they were on crack if they were thinking that. But the Chargers came up with him at number 13. I think that was a phenomenal pick. Another one I want to talk about is, what do you think about Rashad Bateman, the wide receiver from Minnesota?
I think he'll provide what Lamar Jackson needs, basically. I mean, like, they needed a big receiver. They've been dying for a big receiver. Their whole receiving core is like small guys, guys that can shift in and out, but they don't have that guy that can throw up the 50-50 ball. And I think he'll provide just what that offense needs.
Yeah, I think he was a perfect fit, dude, because I couldn't believe that the Titans passed on him and took Elijah Moore instead. Or no, not Elijah Moore. Who did the Titans take?
They took a defensive player.
Yeah, it wasn't Elijah Moore. I'm trying to think.
Elijah Moore went in the second round.
Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, I was surprised that Bateman went that late in the first because, like you said, though, he's a perfect fit for the Ravens. Literally like textbook perfect fit. So I thought Bateman was one of the more underrated players in the draft. I really like his style. I think it's going to translate like directly to the NFL. Colin, do you know much about Bateman?
I know he went to University of Minnesota. One of my roommates, he was from Minnesota. He is from Minnesota. He said that he boat raced their quarterback, but that's totally different. That's a totally different story. I mean, Minnesota to me shocked me this year because PJ Fleck, he turned them around because I didn't really know anything about him, but I mean, I don't trust the Ravens. They're still going to get killed by the Bills. So, I mean, what difference does it make?
Well, yeah, I'm sure a Bills fan would say so, but, I think the Ravens can compete.
Okay. Yeah,
I think the Bills are the best
pick.
team. I think the Bills are the best team other than the Chiefs, of course, in the AFC. So, but
yeah,
I think the Ravens
it was a
can
good
compete.
pick. It was a good pick.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. Yeah, what else is there to talk about in the draft? Like, there was just so much that went on, dude.
It was a good draft. What do you think about the overall draft presentation?
Like
I
how
the
they-
chair.
The
like the
chair. There's the chair. I think
Oh god,
the only I think it's so dumb how they like have all these things going on with the draft and they have all like this bullshit going on, I feel like it should just be Roger Goodell just going up, announcing the pick, going back, and then going for it. But that's for the
Every
people.
pick.
Yeah, and it's so like annoying to watch on TV. The only like explanation that I could come up for that is that being at the draft must be a fucking riot. Because like that's
one of my friends.
They even had Kings of Leon up there like singing, and it was, I don't know. There's just a lot of dumb presentation stuff. Like, why are you doing this? Just please, just
I just make it a spectacle.
Yeah,
they make it a spectacle. Yeah, one of my friends though, he actually went to the draft whenever it was held at Cowboy Stadium, and he got to stand on like the floor level where all those fans are and stuff. And ironically, even though he's a Cowboys fan, he got a ticket into the Bengals fan section. So I thought that was kind of funny. But that would be awesome, dude. Like actually being at the draft on the floor, that would be completely different. But this year's draft was super, I don't know. It was like you said, it was a big presentation. I thought the weirdest part about it was there was always just a random fan sitting in Roger Goodell's lazy boy chair. Like, what was that about? I don't understand.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It was so dumb.
It really made no sense. But I also, like you said, like Roger Goodell should read every single pick. It's cool to see like, oh, this kid. Actually, no, this sounds really bad. I shouldn't say that. But like, like kids, like, oh, this kid is in the hospital. He's going to announce a pick right now. Like, that's cool to see, good for that kid. Awesome. But at the same time, this is the NFL draft. Let's just Roger Goodell, say the pick. Let's go. Say the pick. Next pick. Say the pick.
At least for the first. In the first round, keep it straight, Goodell, and don't do all that. In the later rounds, do whatever you want and do all your Make-A-Wish kid stuff.
So yeah, I think they should keep that for the 4th through 7th. God, the Make-A-Wish kid stuff. Sounds bad, but I mean that's true. I mean that's
how we feel. Okay,
it's our opinion. Okay, fuck. Yeah, I mean, great draft overall. It was fun to watch. Like I said earlier, my eyes were glued to the TV. All in all, yeah. But let's move on from the draft now. Since we have you here, Colin, I know you are one of the bigger baseball fans that I know. So what can you tell us about this season? Like what's been going on this first month? Like where are we at? Who's the favorites? One of my main question is why are the Yankees ass?
I mean, the Yankees, well, I don't know if you guys know the stat, but this last decade was the first decade in Yankees history that they did not win a World Series.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Now think about that. The Yankees, probably the best franchise ever. I mean, not trying to like sound picky, but it's one of like the epitome of baseball franchises, and they did not win a World Series title during 2010 to 2020. That sucks.
Well, I mean, you could say that the Yankees are one of the greatest franchises across any sport, really. Like,
yeah, and they're the most valuable. I mean, and they're in the biggest market. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the problem is. They paid a lot of money to Garrett Cole. I mean, he's really their own saving grace. I mean, I don't know if you guys been catching up, but I mean, he's been on fire. Like,
yeah, he's been on a tear. Yeah, I've been keeping up.
I mean, he's been like up there with Jacob deGrom with the strikeouts. I mean, I think Garrett Cole may crack 300 strikeouts this year. I mean, that would
be interesting to see. I mean, Cole is definitely one of the top pitchers in the league right now. I think he's top 3, honestly.
Yes, yeah. But the Dodgers, they're going through their what's the word? It's struggles. They're still in their championship celebration mode.
Yeah, well, at one point,
it feels like.
Yeah,
they were 14-4 to start off the season, but then they've.
I wrote out a stat. I thought you'd find this interesting. Since April 17th, in the past 17 games, they're 5-12. That's bad for a defending world champion.
Yeah, I saw something too, like going along the lines of that. They've been bad recently. If you were $100 better, like you bet $100 every time, fading the Dodgers, you would currently be positive over $1,500 just since April 17th. So they started off 14-4, but since then I've definitely I don't know what it is, but been on some kind of slump.
There's one player that I'm actually very excited that we're talking about. Oh, before I say anything else, today is Willie Mays' birthday. probably the greatest baseball player ever. I mean, most athletic all around player ever. Turns 90. The Say Hey kid. Look him up, guys. Great player. But I would probably the one
Good
player
job.
I'm really looking forward to is Shohei Ohtani, the pitcher slash DH for the Angels. So far, he's
Shohei.
Shohei. I apologize
No, you're
for
good. You're
saying
good.
that.
I did the same thing.
But so far, he's tied for first with home runs for 10 with Ronald Acuna and JD Martinez. And he's also, he's pitching. He's hit like 100 throwing for pretty good. I think he's like 2-1, maybe. The Rangers are trying to keep him because he just came off Tommy John. So they're trying to limit him. But that's one player I'm really excited to see. But I wonder how long he can keep that up because pitching it takes a lot out of you, but also hitting too for 162 game season. That's one thing I really want to look to see because he's a pretty good hitter, but I don't know. It's gonna
Yeah,
be tough.
he's like phenomenal at hitting. I feel like he's one of the best hitters on the Angels.
Yep. Well, that's a pretty high mark you just said there because they have Mike Trout, the best player in the game.
Mike
Anthony
Trout's been going
Rendon.
off too.
Yeah, I saw a funny stat where through 69 at bats, he was at hitting 420.
Yeah, like right when he was at the 69 mark. Yeah, that was pretty funny. I saw that everywhere.
And then, but yeah, I think barring no injuries, Trout may get MVP. I mean, he's a shoo-in for the top two, top three voting, and they also have Anthony Rendon, but the Angels are being Angels. They are the bottom of the division.
Yeah, hey,
it's
the
like-
Rangers, baby,
Hey,
they're winning some games.
We're
right
not
now.
terrible this year.
We're not terrible.
it's
They're
that
what,
new stadium. It's that new
16
stadium.
and 17.
Well, we haven't even been that good at home. We've been doing really good on the road. It's been blowing my. I thought we were going to be historically bad, and we're not this year. It's
Yeah.
I
awesome.
thought the Rangers were just going to suck this year because we trade away Elvis, my man, and Joey Gallo. He's all or nothing.
Who
Home
do
run
you
or strikeout. There's no single. He's not a singles guy.
We got Nick Solak who's been balling out. Adolis Garcia, he's been
Solak is good, bro.
balling out.
I couldn't prior to the season. I could not tell you one pitcher because I thought we still had Corey Kluber. Apparently, he's been gone for like 2 years.
Our pitching staff has been really good this year too.
I know. I've been shocked.
It's
I
been
really have
awesome.
been shocked.
I'm excited. This is the first time that I've said this in about 3 years, but I'm very excited for our future right now.
It's a young team, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the no hitter. That was actually I didn't watch any of it, but that Baltimore Orioles no hitter. Three no hitters this early in the season. That's pretty good. No hitters are very rare, but I'm looking forward to it. Did you see? I don't know if you guys saw this, but that was one of the. He wasn't a perfect game. It was just no hitter. He had no walks, but he had a wild pitch. But he still only faced the minimum 27 batters. That's pretty rare.
That's fucking crazy, dude. Yeah, I saw that though. John Means, right? Or is it Joe Means? I know it's Means.
Joe John, one or the other.
Yeah, John Means. But yeah, and then I saw a bunch of graphics and stuff like John Means business because I love seeing no hitters, dude. As boring as it is to not have any hits in a baseball game, like shit, dude. Seeing a player like actually be able to pull that off is absurd. Like we talked about it a few episodes ago, but I was actually at the Rangers game whenever Joe Musgrove threw the Padres' first no-hitter in history. So and like all the fans, even the Rangers fans, were standing up cheering. So I feel like it's just something that everybody loves to see.
No, having a no-hitter or a perfect game is like literally like one of the most amazing things in all of sports. It really is. Like it is the top. It is the single greatest accomplishment outside of like winning a championship for any sports. It is the best accolade for a single game event in the history of ever.
Yeah, like single game, team sport, individual achievement, top of the line. Yeah, I agree. It's been fun to see. But yeah, so Colin, other than that, so who like has been the biggest surprise to you this season? Like, is there any team that's been kind of coming out of nowhere with the record? Like we kind of talked about the Rangers. They've been surprising, even though they're not great. They're just not the worst.
The one team that shocked me looking at all the stats are probably the Mets. They're sitting 5. Well, I would say the Atlanta Braves because they're 15 and 16 right now, and they're supposed to be, according to Sports Illustrated, they're supposed to win the World Series, which
they were projected like a top 5 team. Yeah.
No, I don't trust. The team right now, which probably my dark horse would probably either be Yeah, it's a tough way to early in the season to decide. But I would probably say San Fran, as much as I hate to say it, or maybe St. Louis is always a dangerous bet, but probably I would have to say Tampa. I think Tampa, they're the dark horse, right? I think they have a good chance. I mean, I would never bet against the Dodgers to win it all, but Tampa, I mean, they're like the most logical team to do it. I mean, because they literally had no star hitting. They had Blake Snell, who got dealt to the Padres, but
They still have Glass now.
yes, but you never know. You never
Yeah.
know.
No, San Fran's a team that you said they've really surprised literally everybody this year because
I can't tell you. I can only name you
anything.
like Buster Posey on. That's all I know on the team.
Yeah, they were supposed to be mediocre at best, and now they're sitting at the top of the NL West at 18-12. So that's, I mean, like they weren't even supposed to sniff the playoffs this year, and now they're
It was supposed to be
probably-
San Diego supposed to
yeah.
run that division, but
yeah.
Yeah,
don't get
San
me started
Diego
on
really
that.
hasn't been as dominant as I thought they would.
But they wasted $600 million on 2 players.
It is a lot
Jesus.
of money, yeah.
If Fernando Tatis has only played 1 full year, and he's there, I saw a highlight. This one commentator is like, "That's vintage Tatis Jr." I'm like, the dude's only been in the league for 1 year. How is that vintage?
Yeah, I mean, he's been putting up numbers. I forgot like the exact stat, but he was like the first shortstop to score like a certain amount of
For
home runs.
the
and,
first
like,
162 games, I believe he had like the first 162 games over like 3 seasons because he's been injured in minor leagues and all that. He's at, I think, 48 home runs or something like that. I mean, that's good, but I mean, he's got to stay healthy.
yeah, that is a big thing. He's got to stay healthy, and I'm sure the Padres feel the same way. You know, if you sign a guy to a 14-year, $340 million contract, you don't want him getting hurt. But at the beginning of the season, Elijah and I made our predictions for the World Series. But I want to get your take. Who do you think is the World Series? Or who do you think is the World Series matchup?
Dodgers versus now actually scratch that. I'll probably say St. Louis versus
St. Louis, really?
St. Louis versus Boston.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Alright.
interesting.
All right, Colin. Thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate you.
If
Let's,
you guys want me back anytime, just let me
Drop
know.
some baseball knowledge on us real quick. Of
I
course,
can
that's always good.
Before I go out, Buffalo got the Toronto Blue Jays because they're just that good. Buffalo's just that good, you know.
Wait, you said Buffalo got the Toronto Blue Jays? What?
Yeah, because they shut down Canada because they can't enter.
Oh, okay. That makes
they
way
got for
more
the rest of-
sense.
Right? Yeah. So I think for the rest of the year, they're gonna get the Blue Jays. So
Fair enough. Yeah, that makes way more sense. I thought you were trying to say that, like,
Yeah,
they
I
were
forgot
gonna-
about that.
yeah, they were gonna move on, like, yeah, like move from Toronto to Buffalo. But all right,
they wouldn't do that.
yeah. Anyway, we appreciate you coming on, dropping some baseball knowledge for us. It's always good talk. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
maybe we'll see you later on. So yeah, appreciate you coming. We will be
Problem.
back in
Thanks
just
for
a few
having me.
seconds. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All righty. All righty, and we are back. Appreciate Colin for coming on for that little quick segment.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. Another thing I wanted to talk about other than baseball, football, is I just wanted to dabble on it a little bit. We don't have to go into it too much, is the recent riots outside the Premier League game. So I don't know if you saw this, Elijah, but there were outside of Manchester United stadiums. Manchester United was set to face off against Liverpool, which is stadium. They found a way to get into the locker room. They were tearing down equipment. It was chaos, like to the point where they had to cancel the game. So, like, the main reason I wanted to bring this up, they canceled the game. Yeah, they originally they like rescheduled it for like an hour later, but they couldn't contain the crowd. They couldn't at all.
Oh, shit.
So,
This
like,
is literally the first I'm hearing about this. So you're
Yeah.
getting my
It was wild. So like the main reason I brought it up though is like, what do you think would happen in America if fans reacted this way?
Well, the only thing that I could even comp that to in America is probably, I want to say about 4 or 5 years ago when Boston was having a lot of its riots after some of the civil unrest was going on there, and they had they had a baseball game with literally no fans in the middle of these riots.
Oh yeah, I do
It was
remember
at
that
Camden
one.
Yards. And that's, but like now, if you look at it now, it probably looks like nothing just because COVID and all that. But I don't know, like what to cancel a sports game in America, all hell would have to break loose.
Exactly. Like I remember, what was it? The NBA canceled games whenever. Well, I guess they didn't cancel them; they rescheduled them though. Like whenever all like the George Floyd riots started breaking out, the NBA, they took
They
place.
just postponed them.
But that is also,
and that was in the
considered
bubble.
that's also considered hell breaking loose. I mean, there were literally riots all over the country. But I mean, like I just don't. I can't think of any compatible instance in like American sports where the fans have truly been like so upset with the way that the organization is run that they turn against it. Like I've never seen that.
I would have to say, for one, we're a lot more stubborn when it comes on to scheduled games.
Yeah.
And two, soccer fans are on a different planet than American sports fans are. As much as American sports fans try to say that, oh, we're the biggest sports fans of all, but we're the biggest sports fans of like 4 different sports.
Yeah, a variety.
Yeah. And soccer fan, but over in Europe, they have all that energy centered around one sport, and more specifically one team if you're from a certain area.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's
I guess
how it is.
That's probably why that got so much out of hand, I would say.
Yeah, dude, it's just bro, everything right now in European soccer is kind of going crazy. Like we talked about the Super League forming and disbanding a while back, and now UEFA, which UEFA is like the governing body that like sees over European football. And UEFA right now is considering banning every single club that was involved with the Super League, all 12 clubs. They're considering banning them from European competition for 2 years, which is huge. Like that's like a really big deal. That means like Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, all these big clubs that are in Champions League every year wouldn't be allowed.
There's no way they're going to do that.
I don't know. I don't know. It was a threat to football. It was a threat to how everything.
Yeah, but they backed out of it.
You're right. And I think they made the best move to back out. But from UEFA's standpoint, the reason they want to do this is to prevent anything like that ever happening again. So
do you think
I don't know.
Fall through, or you think they're just full of shit?
I think it's going to fall through. I don't think they'll actually ban everybody for 2 years. That's huge to ban 12 of the biggest clubs in the world from European. I mean, Arsenal, I got my Arsenal jersey on today. We had a big game today. I don't even want to fucking talk about it because we fucking couldn't score one goddamn goal in a semifinal of the Europa League. Anyway, that's fine. But so yeah, now Arsenal has not qualified for European competition for the first time in nearly 3 decades. So at this point, I'm fine if UEFA does a ban. Fuck it. Arsenal's not there anyway. Go ahead and ban everybody else. But realistically, I don't think it's going to happen. That would be huge. But in other news, football news, we have now both European competition finals are set. In the Champions League, we have Manchester City, who will face Chelsea. It is a dual Premier League team final, and Manchester City dominated PSG in the semifinal 4-1 on aggregate. So that was pretty big. And it was almost a completely English final, because in the Europa League, Manchester United will now take on Villarreal for the final. So the finals are set. We'll be talking about that more next week, previewing those, because those are biggest matches in European football. But for now, we're going to go ahead and move on to our Love It, our Loathe It, everybody's favorite segment, best way to end the episode. Yeah, we got a few quick fire topics that we're going to fire off to one another. And yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it.
All right. So college football is gaining the college football playoff is gaining support to expand to 12 teams. Love it or loathe it?
I love it. I have been absolutely sick of this 4-team playoff. There's been way too many problems on which conference deserves it. Should a group of 5 team be in? It's all bullshit. There's way too much bias from the playoff committee. 12 teams is the way to go. I could maybe not 12, 8. I could see 8 even. Anything would be an improvement from 4, but I love it. Let's move on.
Tim Tebow requests an NFL tryout with the Jaguars at tight end.
I loathe it. He needs to learn when to hang it up. Let's move on.
All right. Celtics come back from down 32 to defeat the Spurs, and Greg Popovich gives a classic post-game interview.
I love it. I think this is one of the things in the NBA that, people always talk about the regular season. There's no effort. Nobody's really trying. I mean, shit, if you're down 32 points, what other better time is there to give up than that? But no, dude, the Celtics fought back. And like you said, Greg Popovich's interview was classic. He literally was in the post-game. Reporters were like, what do you think about this? He goes, I don't care. Like, I don't care. I don't know. Like, he was pissed. So yeah, I love that.
Najee Harris, there's a draft party at the homeless shelter he grew up in.
I love this. How can you not love this? I mean, it was awesome to see Najee Harris, great dude on and off the field. He threw a draft party for where he grew up, his homeless shelter. It was just really cool. A lot of heartwarming going on with that. But yeah, love it.
Isn't he from the DFW area too?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah. So, hell yeah. All right. Russell Westbrook drops 14 points, 24 assists, and 21 rebounds in a win over the Pacers.
I love this. He is Russell Westbrook. You can love him or hate him. He is a generational talent. He is unique, very unique. He's not a Kevin Durant. He's not a LeBron James. He's not a James Harden. He is Russell Westbrook. Like, he is one of a kind. I don't think we've seen anybody do this in quite some time where they can consistently put up triple doubles like this. I mean, shit, that's an insane stat line. He was the third NBA player ever to drop 20 rebounds and 20 assists in a single game. So, yeah, love that. Good for him. And, yeah, all right, that'll do that. So, switching up now, I'm going to fire off some topics at Elijah, and let's hop into it. First up, we got Amir Garrett, the Cincinnati Reds pitcher, is suspended 7 games after, quote-unquote, inciting benches clearing in the game versus Cubs.
Loathe it.
It was soft, yeah. Medina Spirit wins the 147th annual Kentucky Derby at 12-1 odds this past Saturday.
All right. I love it. Medina Spirit winning this is probably like one of the biggest like underdog stories of all times, because when he was a yearling, he was sold to his trainer. I forgot the trainer's name. He's like a legendary one. I think this is his 7th Derby win. But he was sold for $1,000. And like these horses, when they're yearlings, are usually sold for millions of dollars. And on top of that, this horse wasn't supposed to be anything. He was supposed to be a whipping dog to train other horses, and he turned out to be the Kentucky Derby winner. So you're gonna see a movie in about 5 to 10 years about this horse.
Hey, Secretariat Part 2. That's awesome. Yeah. All right, next up, the New York Rangers and Washington Capitals game starts with 3 immediate fistfights following the puck drop. At one point, each team had 5 players in the penalty box.
I guess I love it. I love when hockey players fight. That's the only thing the sport's good for, basically.
It was very entertaining. Yeah, all right, next up, Los Angeles Angels release Albert Pujols after fulfilling his 10-year, $240 million contract.
So I love this, but he didn't necessarily get released. He just got designated for assignment to put in the minor leagues. I guess he's so old at this point. He's batting 198 at the season. He's going to be in the minor leagues. That's crazy that Pujols got to this point where he's that bad. He's never been a very good Angel. But like, if you even subtracted all the stats that he put up as an Angel and just took into account his Cardinals years, he'd still be a Hall of Famer. So,
yeah, I agree. All right, last but not least, we already talked about it a little bit, but John Means throws a no-hitter for the Orioles versus the Mariners. It is the first solo no-no for the Baltimore since 1969.
Love it. Like we said, having a no-no or a perfect game is like the greatest single achievement that a player could have in all of sports. So good for him.
Yeah, I agree.
But we have a question in the comments. Somebody asked why Chicago acted out of desperation. They suggested to grab Justin Fields, and I
don't think they did. I don't think it was out of desperation.
So here's what I'll go ahead and read the full comment. Somebody said they have a question. Why did Chicago act out of desperation, it seems, and moved up to grab Justin Fields? They said they also find it a bit strange how every team before the Bears passed up on a top 5 quarterback. Do you feel both Chicago acted out of desperation, or do you think other teams ahead of them maybe knew something about Fields that the Bears did not know. I will say that I don't think that there's anything that teams knew that the Bears didn't know, but I will say that this was very much a move that the Bears made for Ryan Pace to have his job for another year. Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy. This was a desperation move on their part, but I will say that it was a very good desperation move on their part.
Yeah, I think the only reason it wasn't necessarily desperation, I don't think, but the reason they traded up into the 11th pick is because, I mean, I don't know what they were thinking. GMs know more than me, of course. But like in my mock draft, I had the Broncos taking Justin Fields at number 9. So in my mind, what I think happened is the Bears saw the Broncos pass on Fields. They knew the Cowboys weren't going to take a quarterback at 10. And so they saw an opportunity because the Giants were very vocal about trading down.
Yeah, I think it's more of a situation is that the Lions aren't ready to draft a quarterback yet. The Panthers are committed to Sam Darnold, and I guess the Broncos are very clearly committed to Drew Lock at this point.
I think they're going after Rodgers. I think so.
Maybe that. But so I don't think that this is a bad pick or any means, and this isn't a smudge on Justin Fields by him falling to 11th by any means, because I think he has the potential to be a very good NFL quarterback. But it is a desperation move that the Bears moved up from 20th to 11th to take this pick and give up a first-round pick from next year's draft in the process.
That's true.
That's true. This is full-on Ryan Pace going, fuck, I have to save my job. Because every Bears fan in Chicago is going, Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy are gone after the season, thank God. And Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace both know this going into the draft. So that's why they made that move and gave up what they did to go ahead and draft Justin Fields.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a good move overall.
And it's also just a part of the reason how the board fell to them too. They played how the draft felt because they made that move on draft night as well.
Yeah. So, yeah, true. It was like a move in the middle of draft night. Yeah.
So it was a good move, but it was also a move out of desperation.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is just about it for this week's episode. Next week, we're going to dive into heavily talk about the NBA because the NBA play-in tournaments start on May 18th. So we're going to talk about who we think can come out of that, maybe some playoff predictions and whatnot. But yeah, it's definitely going to be more of an NBA-themed episode next week. So stay tuned for that. We are going to be back on our normal schedule Wednesday at 8 p.m. live on Twitch and YouTube. And if you can't follow along live, don't worry. We'll post it on Apple Podcasts and Spotify the following day. So yeah, just check us out, gtdsports.com, and you won't miss a thing. But yeah, that's it for this week's episode. Thanks for listening.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening.